Cancer does not discriminate. It has taken the lives of world leaders, beloved celebrities, and cultural icons. But behind these names are stories that reveal lessons about early detection, lifestyle, treatment choices, and resilience. Today we're counting down 10 famous figures who died of cancer, and what their journeys can still teach us about life, health, and hope. Number 10. Humphrey Bogart. Humphrey Bogart, the legendary actor best known for Casablanca and The Maltese Falcon, was one of Hollywood's biggest stars in the 1940s and 1950s. But away from the cameras, he had two habits that were all too common in that era: heavy smoking and frequent drinking. Bogart was known to smoke up to 40 cigarettes a day, a lifestyle choice that carried serious risks for cancers of the lung, throat, and esophagus. By the mid-1950s, Bogart began experiencing difficulty swallowing and noticeable weight loss, classic warning signs of esophageal cancer. In 1956, he underwent surgery to remove his esophagus, 2 lymph nodes, and a rib. Despite this aggressive treatment, the cancer had already spread, and his health declined rapidly. On January 14, 1957, Humphrey Bogart died at just 57 years old. His funeral drew Hollywood's biggest names, including Katharine Hepburn and Spencer Tracy. At the time, many were shocked that a seemingly larger-than-life star could be cut down so suddenly. Today, we know much more about the link between smoking, alcohol, and esophageal cancer. In fact, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention notes that people who both smoke and drink heavily have an especially high risk, many times greater than those who do neither. Bogart's story, one of the earliest high-profile cases, became a sobering reminder of how lifestyle factors can dramatically increase cancer risk and why prevention and early detection are so important. But Bogart wasn't the only Hollywood legend taken too soon. Farrah Fawcett was one of the most recognizable faces of the 1970s, thanks to her role in Charlie's Angels and her iconic poster that sold millions of copies worldwide. But in 2006, she shocked fans when she publicly revealed that she had been diagnosed with anal cancer, a rare disease that carries a heavy stigma and is often misunderstood. Anal cancer accounts for only about 2.5% of all digestive system cancers, but its rates have been increasing, particularly in women. The majority of cases are linked to persistent infection with the human papillomavirus, or HPV, the same virus responsible for most cervical cancers. Farrah fought her cancer courageously for 3 years, traveling to Germany for experimental treatments, and documenting her journey in the 2009 television special, Farrah's Story. The documentary was viewed by nearly 9 million people, raising awareness about a disease many had never even heard of. On June 25, 2009, she died at the age of 62. Her openness helped shine a light on HPV-related cancers and spark conversations about prevention, screening, and the importance of HPV vaccination, topics that were rarely discussed publicly at the time. Her legacy was not only as a beloved actress, but also as a patient who used her platform to educate and bring visibility to a stigmatized disease. And if Farrah's story showed the power of awareness, this next figure showed how ignoring symptoms can have devastating consequences. Number 8. Bob Marley. Bob Marley was more than a musician. He was a global symbol of peace, resistance, and unity. But behind the music, he faced a disease that even today remains one of the deadliest forms of skin cancer, acral lentiginous melanoma. In 1977, Marley injured his toe during a soccer game, and what seemed at first like a simple sports injury turned out to be much more serious. Doctors discovered that the dark spot beneath his toenail was melanoma, a rare and aggressive type of skin cancer that often appears on the soles of the feet or under the nails. Doctors recommended amputation of the toe, but Marley declined, saying it conflicted with his Rastafarian faith, which discourages amputation. Instead, he pursued less invasive treatments. Unfortunately, the cancer spread to his lungs and brain. By 1981, at just 36 years old, Bob Marley had passed away in Miami. His death brought international attention to melanoma, especially in people with darker skin tones, where this rare type of cancer is more likely to occur. Today, Marley's story is used by doctors and educators to emphasize the importance of early detection and taking any unusual spots on the skin, even under the nails, seriously. Far from being a tale of blame, his life reminds us how cultural beliefs, access to care, and awareness all shape the choices people make. And while Marley's case showed the danger of a cancer hidden in plain sight, the next legend battled a disease strongly tied to lifestyle habits. George Harrison, the Quiet Beatle, helped shape music history with songs like Here Comes the Sun and While My Guitar Gently Weeps. But in the late 1990s, fans were saddened to learn he was battling cancer. Harrison was a longtime smoker, a habit he later regretted. In 1997, he was diagnosed with throat cancer and underwent radiation therapy in London. 2 years later, he survived a near-fatal stabbing when an intruder broke into his home. But by 2001, doctors confirmed that his cancer had returned, this time in his lungs, and later spreading to his brain. George Harrison passed away on November 29, 2001, at just 58 years old, surrounded by family in Los Angeles. His ashes were reportedly scattered in the sacred rivers of India, in keeping with his lifelong devotion to Hindu spirituality. Harrison's story is a stark reminder of how smoking remains the leading cause of lung cancer worldwide. According to the CDC, about 80 to 90% of lung cancer deaths are linked to tobacco use. Even years after quitting, the risk stays higher compared to non-smokers, though it does decline over time. Today, public figures like Harrison continue to serve as a warning about the dangers of smoking, but also as reminders of the progress made in education and prevention since his passing. But it wasn't just musicians who faced cancer. Even the world's most glamorous First Lady fought her own private battle. Number 6. Jackie Kennedy Onassis. Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis, remembered worldwide as America's elegant and graceful First Lady, lived much of her life in the public eye. Yet her cancer battle was something she faced largely in private. In early 1994, Jackie was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, a cancer that starts in the lymphatic system, part of the body's immune defenses. She began treatment at New York's Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, undergoing chemotherapy to try to control the disease. At first, doctors were optimistic. Non-Hodgkin's lymphoma has many subtypes, and some respond well to treatment. But Jackie's cancer spread aggressively, reaching her spinal cord and brain. Within months of her diagnosis, her health declined rapidly. On May 19, 1994, Jackie Kennedy Onassis passed away at the age of 64, surrounded by family. Her death shocked the nation, not only because of her iconic status, but because lymphoma was still relatively unfamiliar to the general public at that time. Her case brought new attention to non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, helping raise awareness and support for further research. Today, survival rates for many forms of lymphoma have improved significantly, thanks to advances in targeted therapies and immunotherapies. And while Jackie's battle highlighted a disease that was little known at the time, another beloved Hollywood star showed the importance of paying attention to subtle warning signs. Audrey Hepburn, one of Hollywood's most enduring icons, was known not only for films like Breakfast at Tiffany's and Roman Holiday, but also for her grace, elegance, and later humanitarian work with UNICEF. In her early 60s, however, she began to suffer from persistent abdominal pain and digestive issues, symptoms that at first seemed vague but grew more severe. In November 1992, while in Los Angeles, doctors performed exploratory surgery and discovered a rare form of cancer, pseudomyxoma peritoni, often referred to as appendix cancer. By the time it was found, the disease had already spread throughout her abdomen. Despite surgery and subsequent treatment in Switzerland, her condition continued to decline. In January 1993, Audrey Hepburn passed away at her home near Geneva at the age of 63, surrounded by family. Her death brought international attention to a cancer that few had even heard of. Appendix cancer is extremely rare, with only about 1,500 new cases diagnosed each year in the United States. Because it often presents with vague or non-specific symptoms, it is usually discovered late when treatment options are limited. Hepburn's story reminds us of the importance of paying attention to persistent, unexplained symptoms. While not every stomach pain signals cancer, it underscores the value of early medical evaluation when something doesn't feel right. And while Audrey faced her illness with quiet dignity, another Hollywood favorite took a very public stand during his cancer journey. Patrick Swayze, beloved star of Dirty Dancing and Ghost, was at the height of his career when, in early 2008, he received devastating news. He had stage 4 pancreatic cancer. This type of cancer is especially aggressive, and at the time of his diagnosis, it had already spread to his liver. What made Swayze's story so impactful was the way he faced it publicly. Just weeks after his diagnosis, he appeared at the Stand Up to Cancer telethon in September 2008, urging Americans to come together to fund research. Despite chemotherapy, Swayze continued working, starring in the television series The Beast, while undergoing treatment. He was candid about the physical and emotional toll of the disease, describing moments of hope as well as despair. His openness gave millions of people a raw, unfiltered look at what living with pancreatic cancer truly meant. Patrick Swayze passed away on September 14, 2009, just 20 months after his diagnosis at the age of 57. His wife, Lisa Niemi, later wrote about his courage in her memoir, saying he refused to give up hope until the very end. His journey helped shine a spotlight on pancreatic cancer, a disease with one of the lowest survival rates of any major cancer. Awareness campaigns in his honor continue to push for earlier detection methods and better treatments. And while Swayze became a symbol of courage in Hollywood, another public figure showed remarkable resilience in the very halls of justice. Number 3. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, often known simply as RBG, a U.S. Supreme Court justice, became a global symbol of perseverance and justice. Appointed in 1993, she served on the court for nearly 3 decades, championing gender equality and civil rights. What made her story remarkable was how openly she lived with cancer while continuing her work. Ginsburg was first diagnosed with colon cancer in 1999, undergoing surgery and radiation therapy. A decade later, she battled early-stage pancreatic cancer, treated surgically in 2009. Despite these setbacks, she remained active on the bench, rarely missing oral arguments. In 2018, she faced lung cancer and had part of her left lung removed. And in 2019, she endured a second round of pancreatic cancer treatment with radiation at Memorial Sloan Kettering in New York. Through each recurrence, RBG continued her judicial duties. Admirers often pointed to her resilience. She was in her mid-80s, yet still outworking colleagues decades younger. In her own words, she said, "I will do this job as long as I can do it full steam." On September 18, 2020, Ruth Bader Ginsburg died at the age of 87 due to complications from metastatic pancreatic cancer. Her passing drew tributes from around the world. Her story demonstrates how cancer is often a long journey, with remissions, recurrences, and ongoing treatments. It also shows that a sense of purpose and determination can carry someone through even the most difficult diagnoses. And while Justice Ginsburg showed resilience in the courts, the next figure was a visionary in technology, whose decisions around treatment became one of the most widely discussed cancer stories in modern history. Number 2, Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs, the co-founder of Apple, transformed technology and culture with the iPhone, iPad, and Mac. But in 2003, he was diagnosed with a rare type of pancreatic cancer, a neuroendocrine tumor. Unlike the more common pancreatic adenocarcinoma, this slower-growing tumor sometimes offers better outcomes if treated early. Jobs, however, made a controversial decision. Instead of immediate surgery, he pursued alternative treatments for 9 months, including special diets and herbal therapies. By the time he agreed to surgery in 2004, the cancer had progressed. For years, Jobs underwent a series of treatments, including a liver transplant in 2009. He continued leading Apple, even unveiling groundbreaking products while visibly weakened. But by 2011, his health declined sharply. On October 5, 2011, Steve Jobs died at age 56. His story has been debated in both medical and public circles. Some experts believe his delay in receiving conventional treatment may have shortened his life. Others point out that neuroendocrine tumors can be unpredictable. Jobs' battle highlights the importance of timely, evidence-based treatment for cancer, while also reflecting the difficult, deeply personal decisions patients face. His passing also raised global awareness of rare cancers and sparked discussions about the limits of alternative medicine. And if Steve Jobs' story showed the risks of delaying treatment, our final entry is a powerful reminder that cancer can strike even the young, and that silence can sometimes hide extraordinary courage. Number 1. Chadwick Boseman. Chadwick Boseman, best known as Marvel's Black Panther, shocked the world when he died in 2020 at just 43 years old. Few outside his closest circle knew that he had been battling stage 3 colon cancer since 2016. During those 4 years, Boseman underwent surgeries and multiple rounds of chemotherapy, all while filming physically demanding roles in blockbuster films like Black Panther, Avengers Endgame, and The Five Bloods. His ability to perform at such a high level while in treatment remains awe-inspiring. Boseman chose to keep his diagnosis private, which meant his death came as a devastating surprise. His story drew worldwide attention to colorectal cancer, especially the concerning rise in cases among younger adults under 50. In fact, the U.S. Preventive Services Task Force has since lowered the recommended age for colon cancer screening from 50 to 45. Beyond the medical lessons, Chadwick Boseman's legacy is one of strength, dignity, and service. Even during his illness, he visited children with cancer in hospitals, offering them encouragement while he himself was in treatment. He died on August 28, 2020, surrounded by his family. For millions, his passing was not just the loss of a movie star, but a reminder of resilience and quiet heroism. His story continues to inspire conversations about early detection, preventive screenings, and the hidden battles many people face. These stories remind us that cancer can touch anyone, no matter their fame or fortune. But they also remind us that awareness and early action can make a difference. If you'd like to learn more about everyday choices that may help lower your risk, don't miss our video 12 Purple Foods to Prevent Cancer. You can watch it right here. And if you found this video meaningful, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who may need this information. Every share could help another person. You can also support our work through our channel merch or by using the Super Thanks button below. Thanks for watching. Stay strong, stay informed, and take care of yourself. We'll see you in the next one.